What's good, everybody? It's your boy Czar, all rights reserved. Now, I come to you with a late night production because I've seen several comments made about Harith Augustus, a Chicago resident that was shot in the back. Now, up to date, they have released the video of the shooting, so that is why I'm here with you talking to you right now. I watched it. Now, before I get into what I'm about to say, I have to say this, and it may go back a bit to stuff I've already talked about. Thus, why I talk about certain things because it relates to an issue and it goes through it in detail. Now, listen to me. Looking at different things that were addressed before and stuff that was going on in Chicago, go watch the video. Again, the reason I don't always post links and stuff is because I don't want copyright strikes from other guys on YouTube. Because sometimes they try to say, oh, you're posting my content and just get out of whack and they just got issues with stuff. So I don't even play that game. I come to you with original, thought-provoking conversation because we're realists here. Now, we got to be real about this situation. Chicago's very tense. There was riots and all types of things after this. From watching the footage, in my humble opinion, that female officer was in the wrong when she did this. Okay, so if you watch it, you see the one guy who was behind everyone and they were approaching the guy outside who was allegedly making an exchange of some sort that was presumed to be Lucy's, just like the situation of the guy choked out in New York. Except my issue with this situation, look very closely. Instead of her talking to him and saying things, watch how they address the person. Now, that is my issue. If you're an officer of the law, you don't have any probable cause to just snatch someone unless you've seen an illegal exchange of some sort. Now, it's presumed he was passing to Lucy. I seen it on video cam. You didn't really see what they were doing. So your first resort was not to what? What did she do? She grabbed him. That right there, listen, that's unlawful contact. You can't just walk up and grab someone by the arm. That's not how it works. And I noticed this a lot with female in authority versus men in authority. Did you see how the men who were, and this is for the male officers there, they weren't aggressive. They were literally speaking like, hey, what's up? What you up to? She walked up and grabbed him by the arm. Listen, when you did that, you messed up. Lawfully, you cannot do that. And if he has a family that's knowledgeable, she's not allowed to do that. You can't just walk up to me and grab me by my arm in a very aggressive manner like you're presuming to arrest me just because you think I'm doing something wrong. You need, without a shadow of a doubt, something going wrong. He wasn't running at first. This man backed off after he snatched his arm out of your arm. You said you seen a gun, which, yes, that was visible. But before that, listen, the game's not what happened after. No, that's not the game we're playing. Don't let them play that game. Constitutional rights shows you probable cause must be justified in many different ways. Now, the reason this is to protect people's rights. These are very synonymous things we've seen with lots of officers violating Black Americans in America. This is a very normal thing, and it's only getting worse. We see over time it's only getting worse. We see multiple times as these cases build with Black men being shot to death, that this is becoming the norm. Where she had no justification for grabbing this man's arm. Watch the video again. She did it very aggressive. Like she was about to try and slam him. Like, watch how she does it. And this is my issue with female officers because of this. If you feel intimidated or want to prove power, this is not the line of work for you. You're to protect and serve. I repeat, you're to protect and serve. You're not to grab someone and violate them or hem them up. You had no justification. There was nothing aggressive going on. And then he snatched his arm out and ran. Listen, and then they put out a false statement he had no license to conceal. The higher up of the man that put the false information out, we're going to ignore, said he did. So you unlawfully violated this man. You cannot walk up to him and grab him. What were you thinking? What was she really thinking? Chicago PD, you need to talk to your officers. I don't know whether she felt she was strong. You watch how she walks up. It's very aggressive, very like she's ready to do something when she has no clue anything even's going on. He could have handed him a paper towel balled up, and you still would have grabbed him and shot him. Like, that's my issue. You have cops that go to work with chips on their shoulder and they take their anger out on others. Look at the men in the situation. None of the male officers was walking up like that. They were walking up like it was a normal day. This one female officer was walking up like, like she's about to do something. And that's the problem. That's how officers abuse their power. They'll walk at you, act like they're about to do. Listen, you do not fear. What do I say? Look your accusers in the eye. Look them in the eye. Law cannot violate your Constitution. They wouldn't have a job if it wasn't for you being a citizen in America. Remember that. They're only employed because we're here. If there was no one to protect and serve, they wouldn't have that uniform on. If you're doing nothing wrong, stand and face your accuser. If they're unlawful, stand and face your accuser. This is going to be a very synonymous thing going into the future. Guys running, guys doing all that. No, stand and face your accuser. If they're abusing their rights, they're going to pay for it. They're going to pay for it. Don't worry. There's nothing to worry about. They're going to pay for it. Listen, and this is very important in Chicago. And I'm going to talk to the Chicago citizens real quick. You got to understand there's a lot going on in Chicago. A lot of murders, a lot of gang violence. Some of these officers fear for their life, and they replace fear with, let's say, unneeded bravery. Situations they don't need to act brave, but they show it. So they're thinking about the shooting 2 days ago, but they're walking at you with that anger. You need to understand that they got a chip on their shoulder every day. And that's objectively speaking about what they deal with while they're going through day after day of maintaining law. But in this situation, she's 100% wrong. You do not walk up and grab anyone. You have no rights to put your hands on no one until you outwardly. Now, if he had the gun in his hand and you want to be brave and grab it, which you wouldn't, that would have been different. But he wasn't hurting anything. And that's my issue with this. You put your hands on this man without knowing what was going on first. Then you said, oh, he has a gun. He started shooting him. But he legally has it. Now you violated his rights in death. Now, I don't know if she's going to walk on this. Maybe she will. But this is, again, reflecting what is the mentality of authority when they're going to work. Do you understand what you're able to do and what you're not able to do? Do you get this? These things are not lawful, and you can't walk up and just grab people. You need to have a reason. You need to have probable cause, whether you're in your squad car or whether you're just walking. Probable cause needs to be in effect at all times. That is how you properly protect and serve. She's wrong for this. If you look at the evidence, she was the aggressor. She did unnecessary actions and she had backup. There was no reason for for her to do what she did. Now, he shouldn't have ran, but after what you did, you caused it to happen. If an item stops working and I know I spilled water on it, did the item stop working because it's cheap? Because it's a bad brand? Oh, this Toshiba speaker, it sucks. Stop working. But hey, bro, didn't you spill water on it last week? Oh, yeah, I did. But it's still cheap. That's the situation. You're blaming the outcome and not the cause. That's not how it works. When we start allowing this, we literally start destroying our rights to a constitution. The constitutional justification of why we are hardworking, bill paying, well living citizens. Let me know your thoughts below. This is sad, once again. All rights reserved.